How you doing? How you doing? This is the Chris Williams Show podcast. I'm your handsome, slender host, Christopher Dylan Williams, and I'm elated and blessed to have everyone here on the podcast today. Today we have a special guest, Alabama State commit, Tyler Swann. Ty, man, thank you, man. It's a blessing.
Oh,
Thank
yeah.
you for allowing me to be in your presence today.
Of course. Thank you for having me.
What's the biggest misconception of a defensive end and defensive tackle? So basically what I'm trying to explain about the misconception being, do they have different preparations or different talents that we don't know about, or can they play different sports even with their size as well?
So mainly defensive ends, I say they're like more longer, more athletic. Those are usually like the bigger guys. Like they can pretty much they're multi-talented. You know, they can move around. They're pretty quick, fast, long, lengthy, can cover a lot of ground. And with a lot of D tackles, it's just like they're still big and tall, but they're not the tallest. They're kind of shorter, more compact, and got a lot of more strength and power to them. So, I mean, as far as like being able to play any other positions and any other sports, I say mostly DNs and stuff like that, just because they got a variety of things in their little tool belt that they can do.
But I'm also not just the ends, bro. Yes, they had Julius Peppers, who played at North Carolina. He was a power forward.
Yeah.
But they also have tight ends too, like Jimmy Graham, Tony Gonzalez, Antonio Gates, a Hall of Famer.
Yeah.
So it can be. I'm gonna say this, man. It can be any type of athlete.
Yeah.
Right. It can be track athletes. It can be football players. It can be some basketball players like LeBron James and Russell Westbrook. So it just takes those certain type of dogs and that certain type of mentality. Hey, can I take a hit? Hey, can I go through two-a-days? If you can do all that, then maybe that can happen, you know.
Just maybe, though. Just maybe.
Oh, yeah. So, man, you were the number 38 defensive tackle in Georgia. And did you feel that you were snubbed in any way, even being a high pick in your state, basically?
Yeah, so I did feel like I was a little snubbed. I mean, I feel like everything happens for a reason, but I definitely do feel like I was a little overlooked. I didn't get my first offer no matter what division, I didn't get my first offer till like February after my senior season. So I finished up high school not thinking I was going to even be able to play football anymore because I didn't have any offers at the time. My first one, it was a D2 school called Miles in February.
Yep, HBCU, Miles College. Yep.
And it pretty much took off from there. A lot of the that were recruiting me, I guess that was why a lot of schools just like overlooked me a little bit.
Yeah.
This guy that good and not signed anywhere, but like I committed to VMI military school.
Yep.
School that I really had other than Presbyterian, and I committed there in April. So I was like last commit. Like they were already recruiting the next class of players and stuff like that. I was the last one they brought aboard. So you know, I took a chance on me. I was literally the last commit to sign there, and I just kept my head down, worked out, and just kept working really just to get on that field and prove I had a chip on my shoulder with being over like that.
But I'm gonna say this, man. The Lord works in mysterious ways, man. So he puts different things together, right? He's using you to show other people what faith is, right? Yeah. So you might have to have a different direction. It might not be that easy. You might go through trials and tribulations, but in order for you to reach the mountaintop, right, you had to go D2 to show people, hey, even though this is Division II, hey, I made it.
Yeah,
it's gonna take some time for me to get there, but God willing, I'm gonna get there.
Yeah, window. They was Division One. They played up in the SoCon.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, so I mean, that was really the only opportunity I had. So I took it. I knew I could play on that level, and came in right away as a freshman. Played every game. Was pretty productive too. Sophomore year, kept that same energy from freshman year. Kind of carried it over to my sophomore year.
Mm-hmm.
So later on in your years, they kind of get serious with the whole military thing, and that's not what I came to college for. I came to college
Mm-hmm.
so
Play football.
yeah. So went
Yeah.
ahead.
Yeah, man. So now, well, congratulations as well for making your commitment to an HBCU. It's
Sure.
not Southern, but it's a HBCU too, man. So, but Alabama State, man. What drew you to Alabama State? Was it the coaches? Was it the high caliber quarterback Andrew Body coming from Texas Southern? So, what drew you near to Alabama State?
Thing with Alabama State. Alabama State was actually my first offer into the portal, so they kind of got the whole little
The whole
they
scope.
process started for me as far as
Mm, mm,
training.
mm,
Coach Robinson and Coach Miller pretty much called me every day, roughly 2 to 3 times a day. They was just real consistent, you know what I'm saying, as far as recruiting me, and they showed a lot of interest rather than like the other HBCU schools I did have. They were kind of, I mean, they were all still recruiting me pretty good, but I just felt like Alabama State showed the most love. And then, one of my old high school teammates actually went to Alabama State, and he loved it there until he had to transfer. So
mm.
I feel like it was.
Yeah, man. That's the beauty about it, man. Because everything, everything works out, man. Everything is just put together. It's aligned in the right place.
Mhm.
You never even like being in the transfer portal, man. It's hard. One of my buddies, he played for Southern.
Mhm.
Basically, he had some trials and tribulations, got injured and things like that. But man, when he's healthy, bro, when the ball is in his hands, man, it's he gives him that work, man.
Yeah, I feel you, man.
He gives him that work, and it's crazy how there's so much politics with the transfer portal,
Yeah,
and it's just like we get over the misconception of size. We got to look at heart. We got to look at can you how well how can I put it? Are you good for my team? Are you a good teammate? Things like that. Their statistics are part of it.
yeah, yeah.
Skill is part of it, but how are you as an overall athlete, overall person that can contribute to this team, to the school?
100%, 100%.
Yeah.
That's the one thing they did want to make sure with Alabama State. They weren't just asking me anything like football related. They were just trying to see how I was off the field, what type of person I am I respectful, things like that. Am I a good teammate? So they just showed me it's kind of like bigger than football with Alabama State.
Mm-hmm. So say, man, okay, you're 25 years old, right? Right. You played three or four seasons at Alabama State, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you go undrafted. You go to Chicago, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you make it to preseason, right? But then you get cut. Now, will you go to overseas, in Germany or with the X League in Japan or the USFL
Yeah.
to play those 7 or 8 years that you have in the league? And then, mind you, you're still young, bro. Would you take that opportunity?
Oh yeah, definitely. I definitely take the opportunity just to continue playing football. I mean, I've been playing football my whole life. I don't want to say that's kind of like my image, but I kind of, you know what I'm saying, that's mainly that's pretty much what I'm doing 90% of the time. I'm playing football. That's pretty, I mean, I might play a little basketball here or there just for fun, but I'm like fully, my head's all set on football. So like, if I ever get an opportunity to play at another level, then, that's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna definitely take that chance no matter where it is.
Wow. That's different from all my interviews, man. That's different because a lot of them a lot of the interviewees that I've interviewed, they'll say, "Yeah, I'll take that route, then get to the NFL."
Oh yeah, I mean, just whatever God has in stores to me with me, you know what I'm saying? Like if I feel like if it's in my plans with God to take me to that next level after a year of playing overseas or etc., then so be it. I mean, any opportunity to get in the league, I'm gonna try and take it. You feel me? So it's just everything works on God's timing. So I mean, if
and
it's
you
not,
can't rush it either.
yeah, can't rush. If it ain't meant to be, maybe I just wasn't ready to make that transition from overseas to the league.
That's why I'm still, learning, like just to let go of some things,
Yeah.
because some things in my life were seasonal, right? Because during those moments, hey, that might have been meant for you at one point in your life, but now it's like God's calling you somewhere else. They need you in China to help with human resources or something like that. So it's just like it's kind of really realizing, hey, this is not my life, and it's kind of like, okay, God can take this any way, who any direction that my life is going to go.
Yeah, 100%, 100%.
Yeah. So, bro, if you were drafted today, what makes you stand out from the rest of other athletes?
I just say my combination of speed, athleticism, quickness, and my strength and power as well. Like, cause I'm not the biggest guy, but I carry it pretty well. I feel like I can play anywhere on the D line, just as far as my athleticism and stuff like that. I've been my guy, and mainly my athleticism. I feel like that separates me from a lot of different D linemen and stuff like that.
Would you compare yourself to I'm gonna name a couple players out. T.J. Watt, Cam Jordan, Aaron Donald, the GOAT, Lawrence Taylor. Who else? Shaq Barrett.
I probably say Aaron Donald. That's who I try to model my game after the most. You know what I'm saying? Fights the same struggles I fight. With being like a shorter D lineman. We're not even that short, which is crazy, but we're necessarily undersized. So
yeah,
we kind of share those same values and stuff like that. And my athleticism and quickness, I feel like I kind of resemble it off of him. You know what I'm saying? Like I try to just keep my body in shape. I always doing something like involved with running, speed, agility, and quickness and stuff like that. So I try to separate myself, give myself an extra, you know what I'm saying, extra tool in my tool belt, just to make up for the lack of height and stuff like that.
But would you say that also, like with running, because a lot of bodybuilders, you don't run.
Yeah.
And you say that running is, in particular, it's important, but not. I'm trying to, where I'm going with it.
I mean, I feel like running. I feel like it's half the battle. I mean, you gotta obviously be strong to play on that field, but like as far as like conditioning and stuff like that, if you're not conditioned, you're never gonna be able to use your like all that strength that you have built up. You know what I'm saying? Be 100%. You're not gonna if you're not in shape, you're not gonna be able to exert all that strength and muscle gains that you gained from just lifting. So I feel a little bit.
Okay, thought it went out a little bit.
Yeah, I feel like you just kind of balance it out. You know what I'm saying, between the strength and speed. I feel like both are just equally important. Like I feel like if you're just a strong, stiff dude that can't run, I mean, that doesn't really pertain to football. You feel me? But if you just can balance it out and like prioritize both at the same time, I feel like you could do a lot with football.
But I mean, like with I'll go back to the '90s. A player, Steve Air McNair at Alcorn.
Yeah.
So basically, like in his documentary on the E60, he was talking about how him and his brother, Fred McNair, he never really used weights, and they made a bet with a coach.
Oh yeah.
And so basically, they just
yeah. I mean, some people are just naturally strong. I mean, that's still he was pretty strong for a quarterback, you know. So I mean, with him being naturally gifted like that from God's blessing, I mean, of course he could focus more on like speed and agility and stuff like that. But you know, for somebody like me, I had to work for everything. So you know, I didn't come in the weight room benching 225 as a freshman. I kind of had to build my way up there and stuff like that. But you just balance with it, you know.
So with the new NIL, right? That happened around late 2020, 2021. And there's a lot of politics with this, man. Yeah. And I'm just trying to see, man, is this hurting college sports in general? Or is this benefiting, preparing players not to go broke when they get to any professional league that they go to?
Necessarily, I feel like I wouldn't say it's hurting it, but I feel like it does need to be a little bit controlled more because, I mean, a lot of people are just getting money. They're not really like promoting anything and stuff like that. What NIL is supposed to be like name, image, and likeness. Like they're getting the money from jersey sales, promoting things and stuff like that of that nature. But a lot of them are just getting money just from like donors and alumni and stuff like that. Like they're just getting money without promoting anything. So I feel like it needs to be controlled a little bit, you know, kind of just give every school an advantage instead of just like treating it like professionals and being able to buy out players and stuff like that, depending on NIL and stuff like that.
I'm gonna say, for example, with Florida, Jalen Rashada. Jalen Rashada, he was at Florida, but him and his agent were talking about $13 million to go to Florida. So I was just like, bro, they're not gonna pay you that much, man. They're not gonna pay you that much. So it was a lot of politics with that. And he ended up going to Arizona State. He didn't have a good season there. So now he's at Georgia. And I know Georgia paid him a lot of money, but they weren't going to pay him like $13 million. That's kind of wild.
Yeah, they do be. It's some ridiculous numbers out there. I definitely, because I'm not going to use any names, but I do know a lot of players that get NIL. Mm-hmm. Numbers are kind of like unbelievable, honestly. Like, I mean, it shows how much they care about sports and stuff like that. But like, I feel like it does need to be controlled a little bit.
Oh yeah, because let's be honest. Look at the NBA. Look at Ben Simmons. Ben Simmons was at the top at LSU.
Yeah.
But as there was just a slow decline. Look at Kyrie Irving. Mm-hmm. Like all these players who are healthy, they are really robbing the NBA from just sitting down, bro. And it's crazy. It's so crazy, man.
Definitely do need to bring a little bit of structure to it, but
of course. But I think that also, even with this, it also shines a light on how bad the NCAA was back then.
Oh yeah, it was bad. It was
because let's be honest, man. Nick Saban was paying players under the table. Texas A&M was paying players under the table. USC was paying players under the table, man. So it's just like, it's crazy how those players were getting penalized for the school giving them money. It was so weird.
Definitely. Especially since they do a lot. Most of the revenue is from the players. I mean,
yes.
Majority of the revenue that the school makes, I mean, is because of the players, and they didn't get to see a dime of it, which is like still crazy to me. But
and then I'll give an example. RG3, he was on the NCAA 13 with other players as well, Heisman Trophy winners, and basically he was posing for the NCAA 13 cover, but he didn't get a dime, bro. And I'm just like, so I'm supposed to do a photo shoot, not get paid, and be satisfied? No, that's no. That's some crazy work right there. That's that crazy work.
Yeah, it definitely is.
So, bro, if you were in any situation, right? Mm-hmm. Say if you were at a bar, you got in a fight, who would be that one teammate or one friend that you would call on for help?
I mean, I do got a lot of solid friends. You know, my roommates at VMI, they were real solid. You know, shout out to Eb and Tyrell.
Mm.
I would say probably some of my friends back here, like a guy named Zani, now Chris, Philip, people like that. So I feel like I got a good little circle I could call on in case I get into some trouble at a bar or something.
Yeah. What would be okay if any era, right? It could be any sport. What athlete, all-time athlete, would that be that you would want to play with?
I would want to play with. I might have to give you two with that one.
That's good, man. That's good.
Say either Shaquille O'Neal or Allen Iverson.
Ooh.
Yeah. I just really I say Shaquille O'Neal just because you know his personality, jokester. I know he's most dominant in my opinion. He's the best center in
the shit ever.
So like I feel like you know stuff with Shaquille O'Neal. I feel like it would have been a good time on top of winning a lot. And then AI was he was different, man. I mean, I wouldn't put him up there as like one of my favorite players, but he's definitely a great player. And he had his own wave, his own swag and stuff like that. He didn't really care what anybody said. So.
Oh yeah, because I'm just saying, man. I'm gonna say when you're doing the right thing, man. When you really authentic, people go crazy for that.
Yeah, that's the big
people are mad about that when you yourself, bro.
Yeah.
And it's crazy, bro, because it's like I'm gonna say the whole spring semester I wore a suit, man. And people would just ask me, why are you wearing the suit? It's like 80, 70 degrees outside. I was like, man, I'm just being myself. I'm comfortable in being myself.
Yeah, I feel you. That's kind of how it was at my school. I mean, going to VMI is a predominantly white school, and I mean, a lot of the stuff I would usually do at home definitely wouldn't fly at the military school, and you know, they were all looking at me crazy, like, why I do such a certain way, and it's like, that's just what I'm used to. That's just who I am. I can't really change that,
bro. But I'm just saying, man. I'm grateful for that, though.
Yeah.
Just like, man, it shows that you have morals. It shows that, hey, I don't do everything like everybody else does.
Yeah.
Because other people do what they're doing. They were raised differently. I'm not going to do that.
Yeah, 100%. 100%.
But a lot of times, like in high school and different things like that, it's shunned. Like, oh, you're weird if you can't be yourself.
Yeah.
Or, and then you put it in the box.
Yeah, I definitely feel that. Yeah.
Yeah. So let's turn back the clock, man. Say if you were able to get all the college offers, the Clemsons, the Wisconsins, and there was no BMI in existence, which one of those would you choose and why? You can name other schools too.
I'm gonna have to say Alabama. I definitely would want to experience stuff at Alabama with Coach Saban and stuff like that. You know, their whole culture and stuff like that. I always been an Alabama fan growing up. My whole family household. Even though we live in Georgia, like we always been Alabama fans. Always preaching Roll Tide and stuff like that. So I'm gonna have to say Alabama for sure.
Mm-hmm. How do you think they're going to do this year? Because they had no, in my opinion, they had no business winning that game versus Auburn. Somebody should have just bat the ball down.
Yeah,
the game would have been over.
It definitely had a lot of luck going into it, you know. But Auburn is always going to play Alabama their hardest. Like no matter when it is, no matter what sport, Auburn is going to play Alabama their hardest. They're going to give them their best shot. So I mean, it definitely took a lot of luck for that one play to go through. You know what I'm saying? But I mean, hey, I was happy. I'm not gonna complain about it. So, but yeah, they definitely shouldn't have won that. But I mean, stuff happens. I mean, that's just how the tables turn.
Mm-hmm. You feel like Kalen DeBoer, I mean, even though Washington didn't go well, right?
Mm-hmm.
You feel as though he kind of just said, okay, goodbye, Washington. Like he kind of just snubbed them in a little way.
I mean, I feel like he had a pretty solid season with Washington this previous year. So I mean, but at the end of the day, it happens all throughout coaching. I mean, they're going to take the bigger and better jobs, and I mean, you can't really blame them for it. Like at BM, I only had like every year, almost our whole coaching staff got wiped, like every year. So I would have to get used to a new defense and stuff like that. And you can't really be mad at them. I mean, they're just putting their family in a better position.
Oh yeah, oh yeah.
Going from University of Washington to Alabama, I mean, that's still a big step, especially taking the head coaching job after Nick Saban. So
yeah, that's a big push.
Yeah, it's definitely a big step, but I feel like that's the step he wants to take as far as his future with just him coaching and his family.
I get that. So do you also feel like with the 12-team playoff, man, because that's a hot topic, man.
Yeah.
So, and then even with the grueling schedule, like the 12-game schedule, man, and then the playoffs on back of that, how are they able to? Because nobody's going to be healthy with this, man.
Nobody.
And then there's going to be some health concerns too. So it's like, how are they able to deal with this, and how can we have less injuries or just less, etc.
So I mean, I know from like all the ACC schools I played, a lot of them use grass, but I'm not sure if every Power Five school uses grass, but taking out turf and switching everything to grass is probably the first step to help prevent injuries. I mean, it's no real way to just take injuries away from the game. That's just not the game we play. So you're good. The game injuries, and I honestly feel like the team who's going to be more successful in the playoffs just comes down to luck of who's the healthiest. I mean, that's pretty much that. I feel like, in my opinion, that's pretty much the team that's going to go the furthest because the healthiest team is better than an injured team.
Yeah. So where your picks?
I mean,
just in your opinion, man. Just in your opinion. You can be biased too.
I mean, I'm gonna have to go. I just feel like I would say Michigan. I know Michigan is pretty solid, but I feel like Michigan is losing a lot of their key pieces. Losing that running. Their running back was there.
Donovan.
Yeah,
Dylan Evers, not Donovan.
He was the best player on the team by far. They lost their quarterback. I mean, I would say Michigan, just being like a football fan. I feel like it would be Michigan, but Alabama. I mean, they still got the quarterback. They got the O line. They lost a few pieces on the O line, but their O line is generally usually good. They got that. They got the O lineman back from Iowa that transferred over from Bama previously. Spent a semester there. I don't know why he did that, but I just feel like Alabama still has their quarterback, and a lot of the top contending teams don't really have their quarterback like that, and that's probably the main piece. And Alabama's defense is always going to be great.
Oh yeah, for sure. I'm gonna say also, man. A lot of people were saying Colorado was going to be in there. I was like, nah, they're going to win. They're going to win a lot more games than they did last year. But it's not going to be like an easy run because you're going against Kansas State. Because Kansas State, they're good. Kansas State can sneak up on you.
Yeah.
And then Oklahoma State is good too.
Yeah. I feel like one thing I feel like with Colorado, they won that TCU game, but I never really felt like TCU was going to be good after or even like beating them says a lot compared to their season before Deion got there, but I knew TSU wasn't going to be good at all, honestly. I mean, Yeah, they didn't even look. They didn't. He kind of got exposed against Georgia. I mean, and then on top of that, they lost a lot of their key players to the draft. So I mean, their star power that they had when they lost to Georgia, and they got blown out by Georgia. With them leaving, I just knew TCU wasn't going to be that good. I mean, don't get me wrong, Deion is doing a great job at Colorado. You know,
Oh yeah, for sure.
he definitely has to. I mean, just because they lost all their players doesn't mean TCU was going to be like a cakewalk game. They still had to work for it and get what I'm saying, play a good game. But yeah, I mean, I don't feel like beating TCU was a good little like it was a good win, but I don't think it
wasn't big.
It wasn't as big as everybody and it was.
And then also, they're going against North Dakota State. You cannot with North Dakota State, you cannot play around with them because beforehand they were close to being Iowa, close to being Iowa State. So in any matchup, they're kind of like Appalachian State, bro. They can go against any team
and potentially beat them. I was actually getting recruited by them too at one point, and they're the real deal. I'm not gonna lie. Like they always have a few players going to the draft and get picked up and like actually get drafted and stuff like that. I wouldn't be surprised if they beat. Like they could definitely beat a few Power 5 teams. I'm not gonna throw no dirt on those teams, but teams out there that they can definitely beat.
Well, man, this was a treat, man. A lot of this was very moving for me, and it shows, man, how you kind of speaking through. Gal's kind of speaking through you, telling me to let go.
Yeah.
So basically, man, we helped each other out. But yeah, man, I enjoyed this interview, man, and I wish you the best and of all your endeavors.
Sir, appreciate it. Same to you. Same to you.
You have a good one, bro.
All right, you too.
All right. That was Tyler Swann, a God-fearing man, a great person. I will be watching him at Alabama State this season with Andrew Body. Like, comment, subscribe. This is the Chris Williams Show. God bless. Good night. Peace.